This is the Wire Report for 1830 Zulu, November 4th, 2023. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 1700. Bottom line up front. Rumors of peace talks in Ukraine surface. Domestic U.S. protests in support of Palestine continue. Beginning with international events. In the Middle East, satellite imagery indicates Israel has made some progress in northern Gaza, but resistance remains significant. Hamas rocket and mortar attacks continue, and Hamas regularly engages Israeli armor with anti-tank guided missiles. Israel continues conducting airstrikes in areas that result in substantial civcas, to include refugee camps. In Ukraine, rumors of peace efforts surface as it becomes socially acceptable to recognize the reality that Ukraine is not likely to meet their military objectives in this war. On the home front in South Carolina, Doyle Weisenhunt is in custody following his alleged attack on the Oconee nuclear station Thursday night. He was found by a local homeowner hiding in a vacant structure. In California, protesters in Oakland disrupted the deployment of the merchant vessel Cape Orlando as demonstrators claimed the vessel was tasked to transport arms to Israel. 3 protesters who gained access to the ship were detained by the U.S. Coast Guard, and the vessel continued its journey to Tacoma, Washington. Analyst comments for this wire. Though the protest involving the merchant vessel Cape Orlando is interesting and does highlight the inherent risks to critical infrastructure, this incident also brings to light that an older ship from the mothball fleet was reactivated into active service for the task of supposedly transporting arms to Israel. This is yet another indicator of the quiet increase in military traffic worldwide that is indicative of the U.S. preparing for involvement in a major war. In the Middle East, information warfare has resulted in not just obfuscating the situation on the ground, but also altering and warping perceptions of all previous warfare doctrine, laws, and regulations. Both sides have sought to justify their actions by using logical fallacies to shape the narrative in their favor, ignoring key facts that are pertinent to the legality of the situation on the ground. Among Israeli politics, questions persist regarding Israeli intelligence capabilities and how the lead-up to the October 7th attack was a complete intelligence failure, but somehow Israeli intelligence now has forensic evidence beyond reasonable doubt confirming the exact GPS coordinates of Hamas targets to kinetically strike. This contradiction has resulted in domestic complaints, and Prime Minister Netanyahu has mentioned that those responsible for the intelligence failures on October 7th will be held accountable. However, social constraints will limit analytical efforts as all sides seek to push their own narrative, making a neutral examination of the evidence undesirable by most people. Consequently, the threats of deplatforming becoming a more direct threat to independent journalists is likely to result in the effects of narrative shaping becoming more serious over time. This concludes The Wire for 1830 Zulu, November 4th, 2023.